Good evening. I'm Dr. Eric Gendon, President of the Mount Sinai Alumni Association, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 2021 Virtual Alumni Reunion and the awards ceremony. While we couldn't have imagined what lay ahead last time we gathered, I am so proud of how Mount Sinai responded to the COVID-19 pandemic over the last year. Everyone from our virologists, immunologists, our other researchers, our doctors, nurses, support staff, and of course our residents and medical students went all out to take care of New Yorkers while also making new discoveries on an almost daily basis about what makes this virus tick and how to treat it more effectively. Our innovations helped save thousands of lives in New York and many around the world. Now, with millions of people vaccinated, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm so proud of all of our honorees tonight, each of whom exemplify what makes Mount Sinai great, whether they continued their careers here at Mount Sinai or they're spreading the values and excellence of our institution far and wide. Finally, although we can't gather in person this year, we will be opening up breakout rooms at the end to give people a chance to gather, catch up, and make new friends. Without further ado, let me invite Dr. Alexis Coven, Mount Sinai's Dean for Alumni Affairs, to say a few words.
Thank you, Dr. Gendon. I could not agree with you more about the incredible response from Mount Sinai throughout the pandemic. Although we have been physically distant, this year has also brought the Mount Sinai alumni community closer. Our Alumni Connect mentorship program, pairing Mount Sinai alums from all over the country with current medical and graduate students, has nearly doubled in size. We have also been able to showcase our incredible alums by hosting weekly Alumni Connect Zoom sessions. These are informal sessions in which students are able to meet in small groups with medical and graduate school alums to discuss their career paths and benefit from the wisdom of experience. Many of you have been a part of these discussions, so thank you for helping to pay it forward. As we recognize this evening's awardees, I hope that you are able to take a moment to reflect on the fact that you are part of the extraordinary Mount Sinai community. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Dr. Talia Swartz, co-director of the MD-PhD program and the Associate Dean for MD-PhD Education, Vice President of the Mount Sinai Alumni Association, and Chair of the Alumni Awards Committee.
Good evening. I'm Talia Swartz, and I'm pleased to be presenting tonight's Mount Sinai Alumni Awards to so many amazing alumni and members of our Mount Sinai community. This year, we received an unprecedented number of outstanding nominees from across the Mount Sinai health system. Our first award this evening is the Mount Sinai Alumni Student Leadership Award. This award is presented each year to students who exhibit exemplary leadership. This year, we are pleased to recognize Dr. James Blum and Taylor Harrell. James, a very recent graduate, distinguished himself in several ways during his time at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, not least as a clinician and leader in the East Harlem Health Outreach Partnership, or EHOP, and in several roles on the Student Council. For the former, he helped create a partnership to obtain free medications, expanded social work ability to provide case management, and established a new partnership with nursing students. On Student Council, during his term as president, he helped guide the school through the COVID-19 pandemic. We wish James well as he embarks on his residency in emergency medicine, where he is sure to continue advancing racial and social justice in health and medicine. Taylor, a second-year medical student, is a bright light at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai through her passion and commitment to equity and reproductive justice. Before joining us, she graduated cum laude from Spelman College and was a fellow at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. She has distinguished herself as a member of the executive committee of Mount Sinai's task force to address racism and a student representative for Mount Sinai Hospital's Community Advisory Board. Taylor is also a member of the Student National Medical Association's Executive Board at Mount Sinai, orchestrating the writing of a critical open letter addressing racism at our institution and the broader medical community, which has led to profound impacts on anti-racism in the educational environment. We need powerful voices like Taylor's to help us achieve our goals around diversity, inclusion, and health equity.
I want to welcome all former residents and fellows and the current and past staff of St. Luke's and Roosevelt joining us by Zoom today, as well as the alumni of Mount Sinai Medical School and Mount Sinai Hospital. My name is Carl Braun, and it is my honor to accept this year the presidency of the St. Luke's Roosevelt Alumni Society, now in its 130th year of existence. Thanks as always to our former president and most recent secretary, Norma Braun, a force of nature who has been the source of energy and direction in all of the alumni activities. I want to thank my predecessor, George McKinley, for his wise and careful leadership over the past 3 years in developing a relationship of our society with the Mount Sinai Alumni Association and the Mount Sinai Health System. Much credit for that process must be given to Jason Soto and Hillary Corwin of the Development Office, who demonstrated extraordinary patience with the Society's Executive Committee at each step of the way. 2021 is the 175th anniversary of the founding of St. Luke's, now Mount Sinai Morningside, and the 150th anniversary of the founding of Roosevelt Hospital, now Mount Sinai West. It is therefore right and proper that we take a moment to remember the two men who founded these hospitals. In an era where only Bellevue Hospital admitted the incurably ill, such as patients suffering from polio and cancer, the Reverend William Augustus Muhlenberg of the Church of the Holy Communion established St. Luke's Hospital in 1846 as a voluntary hospital that would admit all patients, regardless of their disease or ability to pay. 25 years later, James Roosevelt, cousin to the grandfathers of two future presidents of the United States, bequeathed his fortune to establish a voluntary hospital open to all, regardless of ability to pay. As we now take a moment to remember those of our colleagues who have died since our last meeting in 2019, let us also remember these two remarkable individuals. As is the custom of our society, I will now read out the names of those who have passed in the last 2 years. If I have inadvertently left out any names, please contact me so that we can include those names at our next meeting. Robert Bernat, Department of Medicine. Peter Bossert, Department of Surgery. York Chin, Department of Radiology. Sol Dan, Department of Radiology. George Demexian, Department of Medicine. Virginia Koenig, Department of Radiology. Paul Keating, Department of Medicine. Theodore Van Italy, Department of Medicine. Bill Winkler, Department of Medicine. And finally, one who was made an honorary member of our society for her devotion to St. Luke's and Roosevelt and to our society, Helen Roosevelt. I would ask for a moment of silence in their remembrance. Thank you. It is my pleasure to award the 2020-2021 St. Luke's Roosevelt Alumni Society Distinguished Young Physician of the Year Award to Dr. Joseph Matthew. Dr. Matthew is currently the Director of Critical Care at Mount Sinai West and has led the expanded critical care operations at West during the ongoing COVID-19 epidemic. Joe graduated from St. George's University School of Medicine. He completed his internal medicine residency at St. Luke's Roosevelt to go on to a fellowship in pulmonary and critical care at Beth Israel Medical Center. He has directed the Simulation Education Program and co-founded the annual Tri-State Simulation Symposium. A recognized teacher, Joe has been awarded Teacher of the Year at Mount Sinai West and the American College of Chest Physicians Distinguished Chest Educator Award. He has published papers and chapters on critical care, ultrasonography, airway management, and healthcare simulation. He is currently the chair of the Pharmacy and Therapeutics Committee, one of the critical Mount Sinai, Morningside, and Mount Sinai West Medical Board committees. Joe, our congratulations for this well-deserved recognition.
Good evening, everyone. It's a humbling and emotional experience for me to receive the St. Luke's Roosevelt Distinguished Young Alumnus of the Year Award. I recall going to the alumni galas in years past, first as chief resident and later as an attending physician, and being in awe of the various accomplishments of the honorees. So I'm truly grateful to the St. Luke's Roosevelt Alumni Association and the Mount Sinai Health System for this award. Although we cannot gather in person, after the year that we've been through, it's truly wonderful to get together as a community and virtually as friends and colleagues from all over the country. And what a whirlwind of a year it's been. We went from working together as colleagues in our individual hospitals to really coming together as a united Mount Sinai Health System to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic has certainly transformed us as a health system, as a city, and as a country. We continue to work together to find therapeutics, to create guidelines, to prevent illness, to prevent hospitalization, and truly to help our patients. And I'm truly honored to be a small part of these efforts. I would like to thank all my former teachers and mentors and colleagues, dating back to my residency days at St. Luke's Roosevelt. Thank you for believing in me. You continue to inspire me on a daily basis, and I continue to learn from you. I would like to thank all my colleagues in the system, including from the Division of Pulmonary Critical Care and Sleep Medicine, the Department of Medicine, the Institute for Critical Care Medicine, the Medical Board, as well as the Mount Sinai West Hospital Administration. Thank you for your unwavering support of me. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my family, my wife, Dr. Erica Vero, who's also a St. Luke's Roosevelt alumnus, my sons, Evan and Aaron, and my parents for your unwavering support and for your sacrifices over the years for me. Thank you again to the St. Luke's Roosevelt Alumni Association for this award.
Our next award is the Jeffrey T. Lateman PhD Award for Achievement in Medical Education. This award was named this year to honor Dr. Lateman for his career-long service to the education of our students. This award is given to an individual who has made major contributions to the field of medical education. Tonight, we are pleased to present this award to Dr. Susan Lerner. Dr. Lerner completed her medical degree and surgical residency at the University of Pennsylvania before going on to UCLA for a multi-organ transplantation fellowship. Before coming to Mount Sinai, she was the surgical director of liver transplantation at the Penn State Medical Center. She has continued to specialize in renal surgery while at the Recanati Miller Transplantation Institute, where she is Director of Education and Quality. She also co-directs the surgery clerkship at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai and is an associate professor of surgery and medical education. Dr. Lerner was nominated by a large number of students who all extolled her commitment to their education. We thank her for her dedication to providing the best care for her patients while giving equal importance to educating the next generation of physicians.
I would like to express my sincere appreciation and thanks to Dean Charney and the Alumni Association of the Icahn School of Medicine for recognizing me with this incredible award. I am truly humbled and honored to have been nominated by the multiple students whose nomination has made winning this award possible. Your trust in me as an educator and a mentor has meant the world to me. You have taught me to be a better doctor and person. It is a great privilege to be the recipient of an award named for Dr. Jeffrey Lateman. Jeff, you have been a role model, a friend, and a parent, all rolled into one. And I will always be grateful for your support and kindness. Thank you to my friends who always believed in me even when I doubted myself. And thank you, of course, to my son, Sam, whose unending love and sacrifices have made sure that I can do my job with my students and patients. Thank you all.
We reserve the Mount Sinai Alumni Award for Achievement in Graduate Educations for scientists who have made significant contributions as teachers, investigators, and practitioners to the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences at Mount Sinai. Tonight, we are pleased to present this award to Dr. Carolina Lopez and Dr. Padmini Rangamani. Dr. Lopez, now professor and BJC investigator at the Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis, came to the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai from Chile and pursued her PhD in the laboratory of Dr. Thomas Moran on dendritic cell activation in response to viral infections. She is currently a member of the Center for Women's Infectious Disease Research, among other groups, reflecting her seminal work studying how viral factors drive immune responses and limit viral replication and spreading. Dr. Lopez was recruited as a BJC investigator because her research will have a transformative impact by bringing innovative approaches to major biological questions and new ways to understand disease and develop treatments. An advocate for diversity in science, Dr. Lopez mentors early career researchers from underrepresented backgrounds and is a fellow of the NIH-funded Professional Mentoring Skills Enhancing Diversity, or PROMISED program. She received a Faculty Mentoring Award from the University of Pennsylvania in 2017 and became a United States Fulbright Scholar in 2018. Congratulations, Dr. Lopez.
I'd like to thank the Mount Sinai alumni for this award and Dr. Jacob Yant for nominating me. It is a great honor to be recognized for achievements in graduate education, and it's clear that those achievements, however big or small, would not have been possible without the education, training, and opportunities provided by the Mount Sinai Graduate School. I am particularly grateful to Thomas Moran, that was my teacher, mentor, and friend during the many years I spent in his lab. I want to share that Tom's insight into where the science will go and what are the important questions to be asked was always spot on, and I wish I had inherited some of that trait. Anyways, Tom, on top of his insight, gave me the space and opportunities to grow and develop as few others do, and allowed me to overcome many barriers and eventually establish my independent research program. So I'm eternally grateful to Tom. Of course, none of my achievements would have been possible without my trainees, and seeing them develop into great scientists and succeed in reaching whatever their goals are is priceless. I can't name them all here, but I want to highlight Jacob Yant and Won Kyung Kim, both Mount Sinai alumni that are currently running their own independent, successful labs. Lastly, none of my career would have been possible without the support of my family, in particular, Christian Perez and our sons, Gabe and Sebastian. So once again, thank you, Mount Sinai Alumni Association, for this recognition.
Dr. Rangamani is professor of mechanical and aerospace engineering at the University of California, San Diego. Originally from India, she earned her PhD in biological sciences at Icahn Mount Sinai in the laboratory of Dr. Ravi Iyengar. Since graduation, Dr. Rangamani has developed a research program focused on understanding design principles of biological systems. Her work uses computational approaches to simulate cell processes. Dr. Rangamani has gained recognition for her work from the United States government, which honored her with the Presidential Early Career Award for Scientists and Engineers, and the Army, Navy, and Air Force for her work on projects such as bio-inspired low-energy information processing. Most recently, the American Institute for Medical and Biological Engineering elected Dr. Rangamani to their College of Fellows, class of 2021. Dr. Rangamani credits the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai with the inspiration to pursue a career as a woman in science. Congratulations, Dr. Rangamani.
Good evening, everyone. I'm extremely honored and humbled to be a recipient of this Alumni Award. In preparing these remarks, I have had a chance to reflect on my journey both to Sinai and subsequently from Sinai, and I wish to share some anecdotes with you. At that time, I had just emerged from a few years of attempting tissue engineering, but purely from an engineering perspective. What I realized then was that without understanding the biology, one cannot build tissue. As an engineer armed with mathematical skills and no prior background in biology except sheer curiosity, I took a leap of faith and applied for a PhD in biological sciences. I will state that this transition is not trivial. I vividly remember a group meeting in my PhD advisor Ravi Iyengar's group when I said something about PDEs and I meant partial differential equations, and someone responded with, well, why do you care about phosphodiesterases? I share this not only as a simple but profound acknowledgement of the jargon barrier we face in interdisciplinary research, but also to highlight that the environment at Sinai allowed me to navigate these challenges and learn and grow in ways that I could have never foreseen. There are many people who made this possible and to whom I owe a huge debt of gratitude. First and foremost, Ravi for his unwavering support and belief in me, both personally and professionally. Many of you know Ravi as someone who's always at the cutting edge of the next big thing in systems biology. This is true not just because he thinks of problems in unique ways, but also because he's unafraid to add new technologies and discipline to the toolkit. It may not be easy, but on the other hand, what better way to demonstrate courage and curiosity than to model it for your group? Those of us who trained with Ravi also know that he is one of the kindest advisors and sincerely cares for the well-being of individuals in his group. I would also like to thank former Dean Diomedes Lovathesis and Professor Terry Krulwich, who were exceptional mentors during my graduate education, and two faculty members who are no longer with us, Susan Wern and Maria DeVersi. Looking forward, my scientific goals focus on integrating mechanical and biochemical effects from a quantitative perspective in cells and tissues. My group has been working on developing models for synaptic plasticity, membrane trafficking, and cancer signaling with colleagues from the UCSD School of Medicine. With the strong foundation that I have received in my graduate education at Sinai, I really look forward to tackling not just difficult problems mathematically, but also working closely with my colleagues to impact both biology and medicine. Thank you very much for your attention.
The Mount Sinai Master Clinician Award is a new award in 2021 and honors faculty who have demonstrated exceptional acumen as clinicians and teachers, devoting much of their careers to patient care and teaching clinical skills. I could not imagine a finer example of this than Dr. Alejandro Berenstein. Dr. Berenstein has many titles. He is a clinical professor of radiology, neurosurgery, and pediatrics at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, and the director of the Hyman Newman Institute for Neurology and Neurosurgery at Mount Sinai West, and director of pediatric endovascular neurosurgery at the Mount Sinai Health System. Among many other firsts, Dr. Berenstein developed the first fellowship program in surgical neuroangiography in the United States, becoming the first to train individuals coming from different primary specialties, such as radiology, neurosurgery, or neurology. That's but one example of his commitment to educating the next generation of neuroangiographic surgeons. He's also known for developing surgical tools and techniques for vascular lesions throughout the body, leading to improved outcomes and quality of life for people around the world. Future generations will owe a debt of gratitude to Dr. Berenstein for his groundbreaking descriptions of functional vascular anatomy of the brain, head, neck, spine, and spinal cord. It is truly my privilege to say congratulations, Dr. Berenstein.
Thank you. It is a great honor, and it's very sentimental to me, this particular period in my life, in my career, to receive this award from the place where I started. Many years ago, over 40 years, here at Mount Sinai, I was a resident in radiology, and I did the first embolization in a patient that was dying from bleeding from a gastric ulcer. And I had a catheter. I was just a resident. And I told my attending at that time, Dr. Harold Mitty, he says, Dr. Mitty, I have a catheter. I can stop the bleeding. He looked at me like, this guy is always being peculiar. And he agreed. We took a little blood clot of the same patient and were able to inject it. We're able to stop the bleeding. And that was the beginning of what I felt was the future of medicine, from being able to navigate in the blood vessels. Today, we're doing that is one of the most expanding fields of medicine. We've learned how to drive through the arteries, imagine the highways, and now we're learning how to drive through the veins. Imagine the sewer system. So I believe, I hope that here at Mount Sinai, and we're going to be the continuous center of excellence, of innovation, of the future of this great specialty. We have a fabulous access to the human body. So I really thank you, and I'm humbled to receive this award from the place where I started. Thank you very much.
The Mount Sinai Alumni Special Recognition Award acknowledges and thanks individuals who have provided exceptional service to the alumni community, and Dr. Franklin Cleon is the perfect example. Dr. Cleon is a clinical professor in the Division of Liver Disease at the Mount Sinai Hospital and in private practice, where he continues to treat patients with a wide variety of liver issues. He was on the team that initiated liver transplantation at Mount Sinai, served as the chief of the liver clinic for over a decade, and was a member of the teaching faculty for interns, residents, and fellows in gastroenterology and liver disease. He has left his mark on generations of physicians and improved the lives of thousands of patients. On their behalf, I say, congratulations, Dr. Cleon.
Thank you, the Alumni Association and Mount Sinai, for this honor. I am very lucky for many reasons. I believe that I'm the last physician from the class of 1959 still practicing medicine. I'm also lucky to have a very supportive family. In fact, my wife, Barbara, is also part of the Mount Sinai community, having established together with Erica Miller a housing facility, TLC, for transplant patients and their family. My son, Mark, graduated from Mount Sinai and is an orthopedist here. His wife, Jennifer, teaches sign language to the hearing impaired. My daughter, Amy, is a senior investigator at the National Institute of Health, and of course, my wonderful 6 grandchildren. My education at Mount Sinai was quite different from yours, for better, for worse. We were taught by imitation and intimidation. It seems to have worked. One constant was our dedication to patient care and research, and I believe this has been a constant of the institution, and certainly in the Department of Hepatology, which I know very well under the leadership of Scott Friedman. I believe that excellent research and patient care continue to be our goal at the institution. Thank you again for this honor.
The Terry Ann Krulwich Physician Scientist Alumni Award is named in honor of Dr. Terry Krulwich, beloved scientist, student champion, and founding director of the MD-PhD program at Mount Sinai. In recognition of the accomplishments of an outstanding Mount Sinai-trained physician scientist, we are pleased to present this year's award to Dr. Nora Abul-Hassan. Dr. Abul-Hassan is a graduate of the MD-PhD program at Mount Sinai, where she completed her doctoral research in the laboratory of Dr. Lakshmi Devi. She went on to complete her residency in internal medicine and medical genetics at the Mount Sinai Hospital. She is now an associate professor of medicine and genetics and founding chief of the Division of Genomic Medicine in the Department of Medicine. Dr. Abul-Hassan is also the clinical director of the Institute for Genomic Health, where she recently launched a genomic screening program tailored to diverse participants of the BioMe Biobank, and is leading efforts to integrate polygenic risk information into clinical care at Mount Sinai. The future of science and medicine is in very good hands with Dr. Abul-Hassan. Congratulations.
I am truly honored to receive the Terry Ann Krulwich Physician Scientist Alumni Award today. I came to Mount Sinai from Canada to join the Medical Scientist Training Program, not knowing a single person in New York. With my own family far away in the Middle East, my classmates, teachers, and mentors at Mount Sinai became like family to me. I'm forever grateful to have been in a training environment that fostered such a deep sense of community and collaboration. Not surprisingly, I stayed at Mount Sinai for my residency. I had 3 kids at Mount Sinai, and even though I left for a couple of years, I came back to work at Mount Sinai. So today, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude to have my work as a physician scientist recognized by the Mount Sinai Alumni Association. It is especially gratifying to me to receive an award named after an exceptional scientist, mentor, and inspiration to me, Dr. Terry Ann Krulwich. When I was in graduate school, I worked on the same floor as Dr. Krulwich, and whenever I ran into her, she would stop to ask me how I was doing. She truly cared about students, and she inspired me to be that kind of mentor today. The other reason this award means a lot to me is that I also received the Terry Ann Krulwich Doctoral Dissertation Award when I completed my PhD. I certainly hope that I continue to make Dr. Krulwich and Mount Sinai proud. I want to thank my parents for always believing in me, and my Mount Sinai family for being there for all the ups and downs of navigating a physician-scientist career. And most of all, I want to thank my husband, Chris, for his unconditional support throughout this journey. Thank you.
The Dr. Sidney Grossman Distinguished Humanitarian Award honors those who have shown extraordinary service and inspirational leadership to others, which is befitting for this year's recipient, Dr. Elizabeth Singer. Dr. Singer is Associate Professor in the Departments of Emergency Medicine and Medical Education at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai and a faculty member in the Emergency Medicine Global Health Division. She is also the director of the Mount Sinai Human Rights Program, which serves asylum seekers to the United States who have suffered human rights violations. Dr. Singer currently serves as a healthcare provider for torture survivors, a national trainer of clinicians in trauma-informed care, an educator of students and residents, and a contributor to Research and Policy Agenda. She is especially dedicated to improving policies and conditions in the United States immigration detention centers and their impact on the health of asylum seekers. We could not be prouder of the profound impact she's had on patient communities and to count her among the Mount Sinai alumni. Congratulations, Dr. Singer.
Good evening. I'm extremely grateful to have been selected for this award and recognition, and would like to extend my appreciation to the Mount Sinai Alumni Association, to Dr. Yasmin Mia for her nomination, to the Departments of Medical Education and Emergency Medicine, and to my family for their support. I also want to acknowledge the work, leadership, and legacy of Dr. Sidney Grossman, which reminds us of the compassion and humanism in medicine. My experiences at Mount Sinai and with the Mount Sinai Human Rights Program, where we serve asylum seekers and survivors of human rights violations, have thoroughly molded my professional and personal identities. They have shaped my understanding that we must engage in patient care, education, and research in the context of service and social justice, and that we must all champion unheard voices. I am fortunate to work alongside a multidisciplinary team of dedicated and altruistic faculty, medical school leadership, social workers, community partners, and creative and passionate students who I admire immensely and who inspire me endlessly. It is through this joint effort across our institution that we are able to support and affect the health of immigrants. I also have the honor of meeting with asylum seekers to bear witness to their stories of persecution and to document the impact of human rights abuses that they have endured. These individuals are the most exceptional, determined, and resilient people from whom I learn each and every day and who strengthen our communities. I greatly appreciate the acknowledgement of my work, and more precisely, the work of my colleagues and the Mount Sinai Human Rights Program, a program that is continually guided by the values of equity, humanism, and service that have been the bedrock of Mount Sinai for over a century. Thank you.
Named after one of the most beloved physicians in our school's history, the J. Lester Gabrielov Award recognizes a career of excellence in clinical or basic research by a member of the Mount Sinai community. We are pleased to present this award to Dr. Jean-Frédéric Colombel. An internationally renowned clinician and researcher in inflammatory bowel disease and gastroenterology, Dr. Colombel is a professor of medicine in the Division of Gastroenterology at Icahn Mount Sinai. He has helped millions of patients with gastroenterological diseases through his work on the genetics, pathology, and diagnosis of Crohn's disease. He continues to conduct research in a relentless pursuit of early detection, better treatments, and anything that might contribute to a cure or improve quality of life for those with inflammatory bowel disease and other gastroenterological diseases. For his extraordinary contributions to clinical research, the Mount Sinai alumni is pleased to recognize Dr. Colin Bell with this award. Congratulations.
So I'm very proud and honored to receive the J. Lester Gabrieloff Award from the Mount Sinai Alumni Association. I suspect I am the first Frenchman to receive this award, and this is moving me even more. I would like to thank the selection committee and all my colleagues and friends from the gastroenterology division, and especially our chief, Dr. Bruce Sands. I believe that in the last 10 years, we have built at Mount Sinai one of the best clinical and research centers for inflammatory bowel disease in the world, and we have significantly contributed to improve the care of our patients. I have devoted the last 40 years of my life to these diseases. Still, when I was looking at Dr. Gabrieloff's achievements, I was feeling very humble because Dr. Gabrieloff's career has spanned over 70 years, and he was still publishing when he was 90. He was considered as a giant of modern endocrinology. My best wish is, as it was for him, one could say one day that I have impacted generations of trainees.
The first St. Luke's Roosevelt Distinguished Alumnus Award for 2020-2021 is given to Dr. George D. DeCento of the Department of Neurosurgery. After graduating from Harvard Medical School, George did his preliminary 2 years of general surgery at Roosevelt Hospital before entering the neurosurgical training program at Neurological Institute of New York at Columbia Presbyterian. He returned to Roosevelt and St. Luke's on completion of his training, succeeding Dr. Robert Schick as director of the neurosurgery service. Under George's even-tempered direction, neurosurgery worked in seamless fashion with both neurology and neuroradiology. And those fortunate to work with him, the speaker included, enjoyed an open, transparent collegiality. Skilled in all areas of neurosurgery, George developed extraordinary skill in spine surgery. He published on spine surgery and contributed to the textbook Tumors of the Spine. His rapport with patients who responded to his compassionate care and thoughtful approach to surgery made George, right up to his retirement 2 years ago, one of the most sought-after spine consultants in New York City. George, it is my honor and the greatest personal pleasure on behalf of the Alumni Society to give you this expression of our appreciation.
Thank you for honoring me with the St. Luke's Roosevelt Distinguished Alumnus Award. When I started my medical career as a surgical intern at Roosevelt Hospital in 1970, I was assigned to care for patients on Winston 10. When I retired 49 years later, I walked out of my office on 10G, which was in fact Winston 10. The ride from the beginning to the end was a wonderful trip marked by incredible changes in medicine and especially in neurosurgery. Following 2 years of general surgery at Roosevelt and 6 years away in the Navy and neurosurgical residency, I started at St. Luke's Roosevelt as a young attending in 1978, working with Bob Schick and Jim Hughes. From then until 2019, I had the honor of working with outstanding physicians in all fields of medicine and surgery, all of whom helped me learn and grow as a physician and as a person. Preeminent surgeons, including Dr. Wicker and Dr. Thompson, Dr. Kassebaum, and Dr. Amendola, among others, taught me much about the place and history of this institution and quickly took me in as part of the family. The St. Luke's Roosevelt environment taught me the value of hard work, dedication to patient care, as well as the importance of working with other physicians, nurses, PAs, nurse practitioners, as well as aides, housekeepers, etc. It taught me how to interact with colleagues and to learn as well of the importance of listening to patients as they express their concerns about medical problems. The neurosurgery department expanded over my years at St. Luke's Roosevelt, adding truly amazing surgeons such as Chandra Sen and Noel Perrin, taken from Mount Sinai. Later, the entire Mount Sinai staff, including my chief Sadi Katan, came part of the family. The advances in patient care, diagnostic, and surgical techniques leaves me amazed at how much has changed. But then again, it was over a 40+ year period. In some ways, I wish I could be around to see what happens in the coming years. On the other hand, it's nice not to have to get up at 5 every morning to start my day dealing with patients, administration, and insurance companies. It's been a true honor to work at St. Luke's Roosevelt for my entire career. Thank you very much.
The second St. Luke's Roosevelt Distinguished Alumnus Award is given to Dr. Danny Lorio of the Department of Surgery. Dr. Lorio, former president of the St. Luke's Roosevelt Alumni Society, graduated from the College of Physicians and Surgeons at Columbia University. His entire general surgical training was at St. Luke's Roosevelt Hospital, with a subsequent concentration in trauma and abdominal surgery. He was the first physician of color to enter the surgery residency program at St. Luke's and to become subsequently a member of the Department of Surgery. He was trained by the last of that generation of general surgeons who took admirable responsibility for the overall health care of their patients. It was also a generation that included many of those same admirable surgeons that did not readily accept the then unique presence in their midst of an Afro-American surgeon. Danny, to his credit, absorbed what was admirable from those physicians. Danny brought a combination of fierceness and humor that endeared him to the younger staff. He could be relied upon as a member of the executive committee of the medical board to call out publicly both chairs and hospital presidents on issues where he felt surgeons were not being accorded what they needed to do their job. We remember him fondly as speaking truth to power. Congratulations, Danny.
Thank you for this honor. When I was born in July of 1944, the world was under the threat of a great power, threatening the freedom of mankind. When I retired in 2020, the world was under threat from a powerful disease threatening the health of mankind. History is a listing of dates and events, but if you're a witness to those events and dates, they're your life. Change is part of progress and evolution. If you're a dinosaur, those changes can be difficult. Those changes, both social and in the practice of medicine, were difficult for many of my mentors during my own training. But by today's standards, they were dinosaurs, and I now find myself one of those dinosaurs. Grant me a few moments to speak of what is past in this scene. In the 1970s, St. Luke's and Women's Hospital, together on 114th Street, constituted a hospital center with 3 administrators on site, right at chapel entrance. You could visit their offices anytime and work out problems. In 1979, we joined Roosevelt Hospital with expansion of administration at both sites. The subsequent merging with Beth Israel and the creation of Continuum led to the creation of an off-site corporate center on 57th Street. The physical and emotional gulf between physicians and surgeons on the one hand and administrators on the other hand increased. This all preceded the merger of St. Luke's Roosevelt with Mount Sinai Hospital, which went on to create more changes and challenges. The merger with Mount Sinai Roosevelt, renamed Mount Sinai West, has greatly strengthened its historic role as a surgery center with its orthopedics and neurosurgical programs. St. Luke's, renamed Mount Sinai Morningside, has expanded its cardiology, bariatrics, and trauma services and introduced an oncology program. While these are gratifying developments, we must remain ever mindful, especially as we emerge from the isolation that many have felt during the previous health crisis, to embrace and promote a new form of inclusion. one that values physicians and surgeons in the planning and execution of change while holding steadfast to our hallmark of maintaining the dignity of our patients and the quality of care. In closing, as a departing dinosaur myself, I'd like to urge all of my practicing colleagues to accept the responsibility to be active agents of change so that our evolution as a health system can continue while treasuring its most meaningful traditions. I thank you.
Our final award tonight is the Saul Horowitz Jr. Memorial Award, established by the Horowitz family to recognize a physician who, by virtue of their outstanding achievements since graduation from the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, has made significant contributions as a teacher, investigator, and practitioner in the field of medicine. We are pleased to bestow this award tonight on Dr. Michael Palese. Dr. Palese is professor in the Department of Urology at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai and chair of the Department of Urology at Mount Sinai Downtown and Mount Sinai Beth Israel. He holds an MD from Mount Sinai, completed his urology residency at the University of Maryland, and then spent a research year at the Johns Hopkins Hospital, where he subsequently completed a robotic and laparoscopic fellowship at the Weill Cornell Medical College. As director of minimally invasive urologic surgery for the Mount Sinai Health System, Dr. Palese established the robot surgery program at Mount Sinai in 2004, helping to pioneer its use in kidney cancer and kidney stones. He has performed many robotic surgery firsts at Mount Sinai, including most recently the world's first robotic single-port donor nephrectomy. For his accomplishments, we are pleased to present Dr. Palese with the Saul Horowitz Jr. Award. Congratulations, Dr. Palese.
I would like to start by thanking everyone for attending virtually today. It's an unbelievable honor to receive the Saul Horowitz Jr. Memorial Award, and I believe it truly embodies what it means to give back to the Mount Sinai community. I hope that I can continue to make significant contributions in the field of urology as a surgeon, investigator, and a mentor. Mount Sinai has been a part of my entire life. In many ways, it defines me as a person and as a physician to this day. I was born at Mount Sinai. My sister and brother were born here. Both of my beautiful daughters were born here. I attended Mount Sinai for medical school and have tremendously fond memories of my school days here. During this time, I also forged many friendships and bonds that still exist today. My father has worked at Mount Sinai for almost 50 years, and in fact, I've been coming to Mount Sinai for as long as I can recall. I remember visiting my father in the lab as a young child and being awed with the scientific community and what medicine had to offer. In fact, I grew up watching Mount Sinai transform itself from an urban hospital to a world-class tertiary care center, developing life-changing scientific and medical discoveries every day. No question this helped influence my decision to pursue medicine later in life. This is also the time I'd like to thank many of my mentors and teachers who pushed me to achieve greater and always think out of the box. In particular, I want to thank Dr. Jeff Laitman for being such an unbelievable mentor and supporter of mine since I was a student in his class over 20 years ago. He's tireless and undaunting in the pursuit of education and helping to shape young minds become better and be better. Thank you, Dr. Laitman, and I will always be in gratitude. I'd also like to thank all of my colleagues and friends at Mount Sinai who allow me to feel like I'm at my second home. I love teaching fellows, residents, and students, and I hope to continue this for the rest of my career. I'd like to thank my family, especially my beautiful wife, Amanda, and two daughters, Sierra and Gabrielle, who mean everything to me. I wouldn't be able to do this without you, and I love you. Also, my brother and sister, Alex and Karen, who both continue to challenge me to this day, and who I continue to grow closer with as we get older. And of course, my mother, who was the rock of our family growing up, not only for giving up her career as a young mother to take care of 3 children, but also to be the loving support that all of us needed in the success to be successful in our lives and careers. So thank you, Mom, and I love you very much. But the person who really needs to get credit for pushing me into medicine, and to whom I'd like to dedicate this award to, is my father, who is the smartest and most selfless human being I've ever met in my life. I'm honored to be his son. He makes me proud to be his son. And this became so much more evident during this pandemic. I got to witness firsthand how a lifelong career and pursuit of the greater good can come down to an almost one moment in time. As many of you know, my father's a virologist who specializes in influenza, a single-stranded RNA virus. Fortuitously, the virus causing COVID-19 also happens to be a single-stranded RNA virus. When the pandemic hit the world and lockdowns became the norm, I got a front row seat to watch how a 50-year career jumped into action, helping to understand and battle a previously unknown human pathogen. My father and his team designed a COVID vaccine in a matter of weeks, and in less than a year later, it is in early human testing in 5 countries. Given the significantly cheaper cost to manufacture, easier storage, and ability for local distribution, this vaccine might well be the answer to many of the third world countries' problems in getting access to a working and safe vaccine for millions, if not billions of people. Is this motivation and dedication that I strive to mimic every day? Thank you, Pop. This one's for you.
I want to thank you all so much for joining us for the 2021 Virtual Alumni Reunion and the award ceremony. We hope to see you in person next year, but please join us in the breakout rooms for more conversations and congratulations.